Hi everyone, thanks for watching today's video. And today we're really lucky to have invited Ms. Ruth Haller from Anapi, a very successful InsurTech company in Asia. Ruth, can you quickly introduce yourself and tell us more about your career progression to date?
Sure. Thank you, Candy, for having me today. So I started my career in Sydney, Australia, which is where I'm from, and I started it straight out of university with a global insurance company called Zurich Insurance. I joined as part of a graduate global program, so I had the opportunity to work in different functions, different insurance functions around the company, which was great. And then I also had the opportunity to move to Switzerland, to the headquarters, where I worked there for about 5 years. And then I also got to move to Hong Kong, which is where the APAC regional office is. And that's where I worked as a regional risk manager. I really liked being in the regional risk function because it gave me a full overview of the company, which I really enjoyed. But after a few years, I felt like I was a little bit far too removed from the frontline business. So I started studying part-time whilst working. I did an MBA. It took me about 5 years to complete, so it was quite a long process. But when I finished it, I realized I really wanted to do something more entrepreneurial, and had really good timing with a friend who was living in Hong Kong. She was baking amazing cookies, and she wanted to start selling them, but she didn't know where to begin. And so I said, oh, why don't we kind of like partner together? I've just done my degree. I've just learned a whole bunch of things on entrepreneurship. So let's kind of like start. And so we did. We started our company called Sugar Sisters, and we sold cookies and brownies through our website, social media, and a few cafes. So it was a small company, but, a really good, fun time. And then that really ignited the whole entrepreneurial spirit in me, I suppose. Then fast forward a couple of years later, I moved to Singapore with my husband, and that really gave me the opportunity to go back to my insurance roots and co-found Anapi. We're an InsurTech platform, and we're helping startups and entrepreneurs get insurance easily, and we give a free tool to take the hassle out of managing insurance. So that's where I came from.
That's really, really cool, from a corporate setting to doing your MBA and then to baking cookies, and then starting out a new InsurTech company. That's pretty interesting. I've never heard anything similar like yours. Can you tell us some of your achievement that you're most proud of in your career so far?
Right. So I think when I realized that I reached this plateau in my career, and then I decided, you know what, I need to do something about it. And I'm proud of myself of realizing, I tried so many angles in the company of, I job shared with someone for a while because I wanted to learn about customer distribution management. So I did that, but, they didn't have an opening. So I was like, okay, you know what, I'll take things into my own hands. I'll learn. And so that's when I took on the further education. And I think what I was actually really proud of was being able to quit from a stable corporate job to say, you know what, I'm just going to give it a go. And yeah, I'm proud that I took this massive leap of faith. It was my first venture, might not have been particularly financially successful, but it kind of proved to me that, I have the grit and resilience to, run my own company. And I'm grateful for that because that's where that led me to what I'm doing now today.
Okay, definitely. I think it takes a lot of guts to, walk away from something that you're so comfortable with, and a good salary, and we go into the unknown. I think it's really inspirational to, to hear it from somebody like you. Why do you think it is important to see diversity in leadership positions?
Well, I think it's really important because companies need different perspectives and points of views in order to make the right decisions for the company. When you are surrounded by people with similar backgrounds as you, in a leadership position, you're just not going to be challenged, and I feel like you're going to lose touch with what's actually happening outside of your bubble. And I think that's why diversity is really, really interesting and super important.
Okay. And what are some of your experiences of diversity, equity, and inclusion in the workplace?
So when I started my career in insurance about 15 years ago, that industry was definitely seen as an old boys club. So if you looked at the management back then, it was mostly all white males, exceptions being for communications and HR, which is where the females held the roles. But other than that, middle-aged white men. And then I can't remember when, but they started going to this shift and this PR drive all about diversity inclusion. I remember going to multiple town hall meetings about it. That was like the hot topic everyone was talking about. And then Women's Network was set up globally. So a lot of effort went into it. And to their credit, we did start to see changes come through the organization. So you'd see representation of women, people of different cultural backgrounds on the boards and management. So that was a really good thing. Like that PR drive really did enact some change. Looks like I've left the organization quite a few years ago now, so I'm not really sure where they're at, but I'm really hoping that it's no longer just a campaign, but it's actually really part of the company's DNA.
Yeah, it's not just like I guess like a marketing gimmick, right? But something that they will actually hold on to as well. And
Yeah.
why do you think it's important for you as an employer to champion DEI at work?
So I think it's really important to me because I want to surround myself with different points of views and experiences. I personally believe this will enrich the outcomes of our discussions that we have and make our company much more relevant to the businesses and the clients and the industries that we serve.
And I think lastly, what do you think the fintech industry could do more of to promote an equitable workplace?
So it kind of goes back to what I said before. It's like one thing to talk about it and then another thing to actually, where it becomes part of business as usual. And I feel like the industry is still in that stage where you need to have certain protocols in place for hiring, for example. I've heard in some companies, in larger companies at least, that HR blots out the personal details. So like gender and name when they give the CVs to the hiring managers. So the hiring managers for the first round at least, they're making their decisions purely based on merit, which I think is a really good thing that I think all companies should be doing. When I think about my startup with Anapi, like we're way too small for that, It's not really feasible for us to be implementing something like that. But for us, it's got to be part of the whole ingrained of our decision-making processes. I think other things the industry could be doing is, having more opportunities where newer or younger members of staff are paired with more senior staff. And I don't think this has to be a women's specific network. I think in general, it's really good to be bringing people from different walks of life together, because when you put two people together to talk about, I don't know, something work related or a specific topic, you learn so much from each other. And I think that's what the industry can be fostering more. And then lastly, this year, it's been a crazy year with COVID, and we've all had to adopt to this flexible working arrangements from home. And I really, really hope this carries on with us, when things go back to normal. I had seen in the past a bit of a stigma, when working mums have to leave early to take care of their kids. And, we really should be fostering a work environment that enables, everyone to have that balance. COVID has been good for that, from that aspect, and I really do hope that this carries on forward, just to make a much more inclusive environment.
Okay, so basically you're saying having like an unbiased hiring process by blanking out some of the personal details so you don't judge before you meet that person, and then secondly pairing someone to another person that's a little bit more senior or maybe has slightly more experience, so the other person can actually learn from them as well. And then lastly is to make sure that you have I guess like a flexible working arrangement be it for working moms or working dads as well, right?
Mm.
To make sure that everyone's really included and that they feel appreciated at work. Thanks a lot, Ruth. Would you like to maybe introduce a little bit about what Anapi does?
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity. So Anapi is an InsurTech platform, and we're really trying to help startups, entrepreneurs, small business owners get insurance much more seamlessly and digitally. So we partner with forward-thinking insurers that makes the whole process much easier to get the insurance. And then we also have a free tool where we digitize existing insurance policies. We digitize the key information like your coverages, your limits, and your expiry dates. We send reminders when policies up for renewal, and we scan the market for options to help companies save on their insurance premium.
Okay, sounds like it's a fast, free platform where you can just go in, click some buttons, and it's done. All right, sounds amazing. Yeah, thanks so much, Ruth. I think it's been great, hearing your perspective with DEI and your personal career progression. I think it's really inspirational to hear where you've come from and how you've pretty much progressed in your career from, like I said, from Zurich Insurance to MBA to baking cookies and then to set up your own business and becoming a leader. I think it's really inspirational. Thanks a lot, and we hope to speak to you in the near future.
Thanks, Candy.